All right, we are live officially. So thank you, anybody who is watching this. My name is Michael with Locked In. We are here for another live stream, and we are joined today with the KaiVenture duo of KaiVenture Bags and Aaron from a Pedal Movement. And so today we're going to be discussing what Pedal Movement is, if you haven't heard about it, and all the cool features that it has as far as getting everybody out there riding. Then we're going to be discussing a little bit about general gravel riding, how we all got into cycling and what it means to us, and see what else happens and what comments are given. So let's have everybody do a little bit of an intro. We'll start with Aaron.
Yeah, like you had introed, I work for Pedal Movement, which is a company that is out of Long Beach. And we do like pretty much anything to do with bikes. If it has to do with bikes, we're probably involved in a little bit. We have a bike shop downtown. We operate the bike share program for the city, and we kind of do all the maintenance and moving all those bikes around. We, during normal times, run events and do education and all that. And so we've definitely been like trying to just pivot during this time and like, what do we do? So we've kind of swapped like, okay, there's online events that we can do, and it's bike month now. So we're like, okay, instead of hosting real rides, what can we do? What can we do in the interim, which is what everybody's trying to figure out now. But
yeah,
that's us.
Cool. And the Kai duo, for anybody who didn't see the last stream.
I'm Karen. This is Kai. We're with KaiVenture Bags, and we make custom bike bags and regular bags for cycling. And we're all about cycling. And we're helping with this movement as well with the Pedal Movement.
Yeah, sweet shirts.
And as well as adventure cyclists, we like to also, with the bags and also with riding, just inspire people with stories and showing them our trips and bikepacking adventures and get them inspired to go out and ride and do the same.
Well, I think before we move on, because it's probably going to happen, if it doesn't happen in the chat, we're doing it live. You have to show the inspirational bike wall in the back there real quick. This is just like full on goals for like any cyclist, whether you both ride or only today. Yeah, either if only one of you rides or both of you rides, like full
at our mountain bikes, snatched up with their helmets and shoes and everything. Bikes, more bikes, bikes outside and bikes in the closet in my room. And then over there we got the
workstation.
Workstation that's also under modification at the moment, getting redone. And another section coming in.
Yeah, Kai, you need to have like a woodworking series or something. You got some cool palette stuff. So anyone who is watching, I am going to have links for everybody's website as well as Instagrams and everything in the description below. So if you aren't watching this live, you can still get access to all this cool stuff. I have reviews on a lot of KaiVenture's products on my channel, and I'm working on a few more. And working with them and their cool custom bike bags that match my bike, and my whole mantra of if you're slow, you got to look good. So that's how I live my life. So Aaron, let's go a little bit dive deeper into Pedal Movement. I hadn't heard about it prior to all this, to be totally transparent. So if you were coming up to me and describing it, give me the A to Z.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not living in Long Beach, you probably haven't heard about us. It really started as, a grassroots group of guys who are just putting together organized rides. We have this ride called Moonlight Mash that every full moon, a bunch of community people come out with they have themes, it'll be like we did like a Star Wars theme. We did a Halloween costume theme, all this kind of stuff. Everyone dresses up, put lights on their bikes. It's like usually a little over 100 people, and we just take over, ride down the beach bike path in Long Beach and kind of circle through some neighborhoods and usually end at a brewery or something like that. So that's kind of the core of where we started, was like just these cool community events that bring, make biking fun. And it's like kind of those hooks that get everybody wanting to do it again and again, and like building actual friendships and relationships with people. And it kind of just built up from there. I actually just joined the team in March, so I'm only a couple months into my whole job with Pedal Movement. But they sort of started partnering with the city from there, and built up to, the city was like, "Hey, we want to do a bike share." They're like, "We can do that," and so they started operating the bike share for the city. And then the city, had a facility that was functioning as kind of this, it's a city-owned building that was functioning, had like tools outside for some basic, repairs and things like that. and they were like, hey, you guys should take this over, and there's secure bike parking there and like kind of a membership driven thing. So we took it and like, what do we do with this whole space? Let's make it into an actual like shop. And so now we have a bunch of technicians there who will do service. We have sales. We do a bunch of work with like Kona bikes, and
cool.
Just started doing some BMX things and all that. So yeah, we're totally at the point now where it's like, we're just seeing, what's next and what's the thing we're going to get involved with. And so the biggest thing that we're doing right now in May is we have the Pedal Movement Ride Challenge. And so that's sort of just looking at like, okay, we can't do group rides in May. So what can we do that involves bikes and brings people together as a community? And so we partnered with Love to Ride, which is an online platform for doing, you can make cycling clubs, and they do a bunch of advocacy and stuff. So we have a page there that you can join and log your miles for the whole month of May. And depending on how many miles you ride, you qualify for different tiers of raffles. And That's actually how I partnered up with KaiVenture bags, because I have a bag from them that I love and have been using all the time. And they actually donated a few of the bags as prizes for some of the prize packages, which we just announced today.
Sure.
And they're super cool and exciting.
So we'll obviously, we'll link all that stuff. So how do you actually connect? Is it connected to Strava? Yeah, sorry.
You can, so I know it's like a whole wall of information on things. You're like, wait, where do I sign up? Yeah, we can throw links out there for how you sign up to it. You can either log, the easiest way is just to link your Strava, and then everything, and I think it'll link to Ride with GPS and a couple other ones as well. Or you can go in and, if you go on a ride and you didn't log it, you can go in and manually enter stuff. So, hey, I'd be kind of suspicious if we see you go on like a 200-mile ride all of a sudden.
That's what I did this morning, and then I did and then I did another one this afternoon. Yeah. I'm probably gonna do that one tomorrow. It's fine. Yeah.
I'm personally scrolling it, doing some checking on who's riding all the time.
The or the 49 mile an hour average, down the
exactly.
It's
like, how many feet of elevation was that again?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
yeah.
No, so far it's going awesome. We have a bunch of people that have already qualified for some of the raffle tiers. We're not even a third of the way through May yet. So it's been pretty cool to see just the response, and, people are cheering each other on the platform and commenting on each other's rides. And like, it's a lot of stuff you can already do on Strava, but I think we're seeing some people who wouldn't normally be active on a Strava community. It's like, you don't have to be like a cyclist who's out all the time logging these big rides. It's like people are, logging rides 2.3 miles. I went down to the grocery store.
Yep.
3-mile ride along the beach and stuff. And it kind of gives you just this connection with other people who are riding, since we can't be doing the same kind of big rides that we're used to.
Right. And then just for clarification, if anybody's on an e-bike, that still counts. It's not any different for you guys, or? Surprisingly, you're the first person to ask. Well,
whether there you go. Like that. You know what? I'm totally not snobbing against the e-bikes. I say, if you're out on a bike, I'd probably draw the line at motorcycle.
Sure.
And or like a moped, that doesn't count. But hey, if you have pedals on it, even if you have the assist, that's awesome. Okay. Go for it, man.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think it's going to be weird. I mean, I know that for me, I just saw the announcement for Grinduro that they're opening registration as of Tuesday. And so they're just saying September as of now. And I did read the fine print. They're one of the few events that I've at least seen that is saying they'll offer full refund no matter what. Because I know some of them, and I get it. If you're setting up an event and money's spent, money's spent, and you can't pull money out of nowhere where if you're a nonprofit or an event based, or whatever. But they said that, full refund, 100%, no problem. So I think that's going to be interesting. I'm going to be there to sign up and just, try to make it work depending on the date kind of deal, and just expect for September. Hopefully it's not too much later, because it's in Mount Shasta this year. And I'm like, not about to ride like 80 miles in snow.
So
it wasn't bad. Last year wasn't too bad. That shit was awesome, dude. You got help.
Well, for you guys, like last year was a lot.
Did any of you do the LA tourist race this year?
I did one of them.
No, I missed on
the third one.
I did that one.
Posted it.
No, wait. I did number 2.
Okay.
That was like to the towers at the top. That was gnarly. That was a gnarly ride. And me and my buddy Mario, like when we don't know LA, so like the route that we made for ourselves, like we literally had to hike because the trail was like this big and like off a sheer cliff that we ended up on.
Yeah.
So we hiked, I think, like 9 or 10 miles with an average gradient of like 15%. Like it was like Supermaning your bike to get it up there. Like it was bad. Like we were just like, then we got onto the trail that everyone else is on. And they're like, yeah, where'd you guys come from? We're like, oh, the trail down there. Like, you can't even walk that. And I'm like, well,
oh no.
Like it was like we got back. I have a whole video on it because like it was ridiculous. But we got back. We finished it. We got to all 4 and like
congrats.
But it was like 8 o'clock at night. Like it was like we were out there for like. But apparently, and we showed up back to the shop, and the guys were really cool. They like there's still 2 dudes there like hanging out, like having beer. So they like let us change in the shop, and they were really nice.
Oh, cool.
And they're like, dude, yeah, I think they said only 20% finished.
Yeah, I did not.
Like I didn't think I was, like, to be honest, like I didn't think I was. We finished all of it. But by the time we got to the park where the party was, like the park was closed. Like it was, like, but we did. Yeah, it was rough, and it was also. Well, technically there was 3 miles we missed. So we didn't think it was going to be that crazy, and we didn't bring like full on lights, And so we got out of the park, and there was this one road to like get right back to Golden Saddle, but it was this like canyon road that was pitch black, like no street lights, and we didn't have anything on us. And I was like, dude, it's not even worth it. And we were cooked at this point. And I was like, it's either that or ride like 10 miles the opposite direction and then go down like Sunset to like get or something to get down there or whatever it was. So we just like hailed an Uber XL just to get like the 3 miles through the road. And I called the guy. I was like, are you good with 2 bikes, man? I can take the wheels off. Like what? I'll put my jersey down so it doesn't get your car dirty. Like, can you please help us? And the guy's like, yeah, man. And so he picked us up, and I told him, I was like, tell your kids you saved 2 lives tonight. Like just like,
oh, man.
It was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
What a ride! Hopefully, Grindr doesn't turn into quite that this year. September sounds prime.
Yeah, September sounds great, and like, I think for I'm happy for them that it sounds like they're hoping for it. With everything obviously that's going on, I think that's really where this whole thing has gotten crazy. But like I said, at least they're far enough out to where they're willing to offer the refund, because it's it's $200 I think was last year, so I mean it's not no money.
Mm-hmm.
It was $200 for the full ride. Like if you did the full Granduro, that was like I think the Grandito was
each one.
Oh, it was okay. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm hoping that they can have their sponsors delay whatever so they can have that option, and hopefully the bailout for that. But so as far as because I live in Orange County, so for Long Beach and what you guys are seeing there, what's the shift in trend? Like Kona, I haven't seen a Kona dealership in a long time, so that's really rad that you guys are getting into that. Is that like adventure gravel bike like getting more popular for your area?
Yeah, we have. I mean, Long Beach up front is like a ton of beach cruisers. Like most, everyone's kind of cruising. So like a lot of the work we do are on these kind of cruising, single speeds. There's a pretty big BMX culture in Long Beach, which is fun. Something like I don't really know much about at all. So it's been cool to get to know that a lot. But particularly during this time, we're just finding people bringing out like all these bikes from their garages that, haven't been ridden in 20 or 30 years. And so that's like the service we're seeing.
The spider bikes.
Dude, 2 weeks behind.
Yeah.
Well, there's a guy, there's a block in Highland Park, which is another like cool coffee shop, bike shop. They full on put a policy that was like, you have to clean off your bike and there can't be spiders, because they had things like they take off a bottom bracket and it's just like spiders coming out
Black
of it.
Widows.
So I'm not about that.
Yeah, back in the day when I worked at a Performance, like when they were still around, like in college, like that was a thing. It was just like spider bikes. Like as soon as June 1, it would just be all cruiser spider bikes. Like it was it was rough.
So I don't think we've seen, as far as I know, we haven't gotten any spider bites on any of our texts.
Okay, good.
But it's been, I mean, we just posted a picture of this like 70s gold, like banana sheet Schwinn with a stick shift kind of thing. Like,
oh yeah,
this is so cool. So like we're seeing some awesome bikes come through, but a lot of people I think are just like, it's one of the only ways you can get out and exercise and just get some fresh air at all these days. And so they're like, well, I have a bike.
Yeah.
Let's take it out and kind of get it. So, I mean, we're up to the rafter. I think a lot of bike shops around are like up to the rafters in repairs and services. I think we were talking a little bit before we went live, but I think even sourcing bikes, you know, it's like everyone's running out of stock because it seems like there's a huge boom going. And I mean, sourcing stuff from overseas and all of that is insane. I don't know.
How's it for Kona? Where do they? I don't know where they manufacture.
You know what? I should know that. I don't know that off the top of my head. So far, they've been pretty good. Mostly. They actually
if it's Taiwan, usually they're still pretty okay right now.
Yeah, I know they recently started doing like you can just order direct on Kona's website and then choose a dealer that's around you. So like
Giant does the same thing.
Yeah, so a bike will just show up at the shop and it's like, oh, we don't even stock this bike, but that's great. So, you know, it's kind of an interesting market research of like, maybe we should stock these.
Right,
like, people are buying nicer bikes than we thought that we would.
Oh, wow,
have.
okay.
But, you know, we're definitely getting like more questions lately about bike packing, more questions about gravel riding, which has been kind of cool. You know, I mean, that's why we're stoked to be able to offer some bags and stuff just to get people started with it.
Yeah, Kai, what have you noticed at your shop? I know, like, you guys are a Trek dealer, right?
Treks.
Is there been in the last, let's say, 6 months? Have you seen any shift in sales as far as style of bike?
Style.
Like, are you seeing more mountain, more gravel?
Gravel's jumping up. Like our area, it's a weird area because you know it's always also depending on the location.
Sure.
Gravel was at the last shop I was working at last year. It started going through the roof. Yeah, especially once like I built my first one and started coming around, and I was like, I started getting more people into it, and sure enough, we started carrying more. And then I went to a new shop, and not so much there. There was mostly commuters, hybrids, and like the Marlins. So hardtails, you know, pretty hardtails, pretty much, And then now it just went Marlins, beach cruisers, and hybrids through the roof.
Yeah.
And we're pretty much like out of stock on all bikes. Almost like all the shelves are practically empty, and we're just trying to put all the repair bikes on there now because we don't have any room in the back. So it's like trading out. It's pretty hilarious. I'm like, oh god, it's crazy.
Yeah, people are
bags too. Just going through the roof, so even bags are selling.
That's great.
Blowing up. So I was like, "Yep, I need somewhere to put my stuff down." I was like, "Hey, smart idea." So bar bags, everything, going through the roof.
Nice. I know we recently started because we have these big sprinter vans that we usually are shuttling around all the bike share bikes, but the city of Long Beach decided to pull all the bikes off the streets during this. Just to prevent infection stuff. I mean, that's a whole conversation. Crazy.
Where do they all go? I know Long Beach has got to have like what? Doesn't Long Beach have like the most per capita?
Secrets.
Oh, your backyard. Yeah.
They're at an undisclosed warehouse location, but it's pretty wild actually walking in there, seeing a sea of hundreds of bikes just in this whole warehouse.
And I'm assuming they're different ones or different brands, or I don't know what you'd classify them like as like different styles. I know there's a few different ones in Long Beach that I've seen. There's the pedal. They're obviously they're e-bike ones. There's the pedal, like the standard pedal bikes.
Yeah, ours are standard pedal. Why am I not able to come up with the word? Not a chain drive, drive trail.
Belt drive?
No, not a belt drive. The
Pinion?
Man, why am I blanking?
Oh, it's the direct drive. It's like got the drive shaft on it.
Yes, drive shaft. There we go. Drive shaft.
There you go.
They're the drive shaft one. So it is kind of funny. We'll get complaints sometimes of it's like, oh, the chain fell off. We're like,
pretty sure that's not our bike.
we don't have one, but so it is kind of a nice. We're able to go through and service all of them at once. We're always kind of picking one up off the street if something gets reported that's wrong with it. And so it's kind of a good reset for us to just be able to have everything in one place, get all the service done. They're all going to be awesome, running super smooth when we get them back out on the streets. But in the meantime, we have all these sprinter vans that we're usually shuttling them around, rebalancing the system with. And without bike share bikes out there, we're like, well, we have these vans sitting around. What do we do? And so we started actually offering just pickup, like door-to-door pickup service for repairs and for sales and stuff, which people have been taking quite a bit of advantage of, which is cool because, you know, you don't want to leave your house for things that aren't necessary.
Right.
You know, but luckily bike shops are still able to operate, that they're a necessary business, or essential business. But people are still a little wary about doing it. And so just being able to offer that, like, hey, we'll come, you leave it out front, you can watch us pick it up, totally disinfect the bike, take it in, work on it, disinfect it before we give it back to you. And it's just been little steps like that of trying to like repurpose and figure out how things are going to be moving forward. And like, who knows how long we'll be doing that. But for now, people are stoked on it.
And then Kai, what about for you guys? What's your shop policy right now with as far as like visits and all that kind of stuff? Are you guys doing
it's relaxing actually a lot? No, it was at first, but now that I guess everything's laying off, and even like our county specifically with Riverside and San Bernardino are like, nah, screw this shit. We're not going to enforce anything anyways. So I don't really care. So face masks no longer required. We are supposed to wear them if we deal with the customers for their own safety and feel better. But no one has to. It's no longer like if you don't have one, you can't come in. For the most part, just hand sanitizer, and you're free to ride the bike, touch whatever you want. Not a big deal. Like everything's relaxing more than I've seen that everything's dying down and not really too big of a deal anymore. Yeah. And everyone's more comfortable about it.
And then what was I think I don't know if you said it on before it was live, but what's your repair schedule right now for you guys?
Oh, we're in up like 2 weeks behind.
And what's it normally?
And I get like 30 bike boxes getting stacked like every day. We built some up. I get like 15 done, and the next day 20 more show up. I'm like, oh god. Yeah. And then 30 of them will sell though. So it's like, oh boy. Like yesterday apparently was the biggest day in history that our store ever had since it's been there for 10 years. Yeah. Literally, like actually, we were selling more bikes than we got in. We're getting in now at this point.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, my old shop I stopped at that I managed before my current job, and they were saying, they can't get their giant dealer. They can't get bikes. They said they're like, as soon as we get something on the shelf, people are coming in, not haggling like they used to. They're just literally like, hey, you have something like full, like. And I told them, I was like, dude, that's great. Like they're getting full pop, and especially with a business that is struggling with all this because you can't even get enough to supply, but that's the thing that I've read, at least in Bicycle Retailer and stuff like that, so that right now, it's just any Chinese-based supplier, either that's hardware or components or whatever, it's getting tough to get enough stuff to even just make bikes. Like I said, for before, like for Giant, at least it was like something they were saying, like, it's all small parts there. You have multiple sources and component, hardware manufacturers or whatever. It's just like, I get it. Like you can't make everything, And so, it's finding like bolts for your stems and who's going to make your cranks now, because, I think that's going to be the real weird shift. I think in the long run, it'll be beneficial for the cycling industry. I think they're going to I think there could be some industrial boom from this, in the sense of people realizing that, hey, like manufacturing is a viable, to do. And it, with all this looming, and we all have no idea how long it's going to last. And obviously this might not be the only thing that ever happens, obviously. So I think people are going to prep for that, to where it's like, hey, if we can source this and give people jobs in other countries, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think this might give more resurgence to US based companies. Obviously, look at the two shaking their head right there. Yeah. I mean, it's all US made stuff. I think that's where there are certain things in this world that people are willing to, they get really behind like the American made products. And I think one of the few platforms for that is Kickstarter, and Shark Tank, like, I think those are like two big things that just like, they say US made, and hey, that's going to be more money, but we're willing to pay for it. I think hopefully at the end of this, this is where I'd hope one thing, at least for, the back end in our industry that we're all kind of involved in, that people are willing to look at the homegrown made products, because, there is a difference. And hey, we're supporting local business. We're supporting people that are affected, that, hey, we're all trying to find work. If you're working or not working or at half capacity or what, with all this going on, it's like, you know what, when I am working again, like I want to buy, the KaiVenture bag, not the Amazon, knockoff special, that kind of thing. And I think that's really where hopefully I'd hope for that kind of resurgence of that aspect of it, because, you know, especially in a bike shop, I worked in it in different capacities throughout the years. It's tough to fight against the Amazons and all of that stuff, you know, to where it's like bikes are one of the few rare things that people still will come in physically to test ride a bike. Doesn't mean they'll buy it. And that's where it's really cool. Like Kona and Giant, and I think Trek all kind of the same business model of, we'll ship you a bike, but it's going to the shop, you know? And so I think hopefully this will kind of help that industry out, and as far as the people who are making products here, or just shops in general, to keep them alive, because it's every day it's harder and harder to do that, you know.
Slight price drop too on things because of the whole Chinese tariff that we put on last year that was basically jacked up everything that made in China, which is a good portion, over 25%. And now that everyone started moving to other countries and Taiwan, prices are going to go back down for a lot of those things. So I was like, yes, that's a good thing. And if it comes here, even better. It may even be the same price, but it'll at least be here, more quality and direct, not 1 month shipping wait list type thing.
Right.
And then brings back our economy.
Yeah. A question we're definitely asking ourselves over here is like, how do we continue to sustain the bike boom that's happening? It's like, it's great that it's happening now. And like, obviously we're thankful that people are hopping on bikes and that people are buying bikes or fixing up the bikes they already have. That's great. It seems like it could kind of be the tip of the iceberg of people sort of realizing how resilient bikes, even as transportation, are. And that's, I think, a lot of the perspective that Pedal Movement has is, you know, we all ride bikes recreationally also, but I always try and tell people, like, you don't have to be a bike person to ride a bike and to use a bike in your daily life. Like, I'm not a car person at all, but I don't really know how to work on cars, but I drive a car every single day.
Yeah. I think that's a good example. That's a really good example. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, and it's like, obviously I love riding a bike, and like, you know, I have the Lycra and I have calves, you know, and all that. But you don't have to. I also go ride my bike in my sandals and shorts and a tank top, you know, like just, you know, I wonder how we can keep it going, sustain it. What people will need to, whether people are realizing right now that like, this is something that I'm going to continue doing into my life, or whether in a couple months, people just kind of get back to how things used to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm open to ideas. Solve my problem right here live. Yeah. What's going to happen?
We're doing it live. All right, people.
I have a solution.
They'll stick. I got customers even coming in like all the time. I even heard one actually yesterday. It was actually even like really heartwarming, inspiring. Like, guy coming in and he was like, "Yeah, I was, you know, the whole scene's going on right now. I just thought I'd pull my bike back out and I want to ride a bike, and you know, ride my bike and see everybody around. I really got inspired and I kind of want to get back into biking again. Really become passionate about it." And literally started walking around like, "What the hell is my bike? I want to buy a new one." And so like, cool, just keep kicking people off, so just get back into biking. But he wanted to go from his, you know, I think he had like a little cruiser he just started with, and he got, you know, want to go further now. You know, he's looking at I think it was like a gravel bike checkpoint. He wanted it for more riding, more exercise, but also to utilize for other things. So we're like, this was perfect. You can put on racks, do all this kind of stuff. I was like, just hearing that, I was like, damn, that's like the first customer I've heard that. But it's like starting to hear it more and more and more. It's like, wow, this is really cool. Like, a lot of people are getting back into bikes, and like I said, like these trails, like this literally turned into little Amsterdam over here, and all these bike trails. In the streets. Yeah. It's beautiful. Like, you still see the cars, not as much, and you see more people on the bike even for commuting too, going to work, just even a lot of more exercising. And even some group rides, even see people are still going on group rides. They're just keeping a good little distance, and you just see a nice little long pack going. And nothing's gonna stop anyone from riding these days, dude. We're resilient, you know. The cycles are.
I think that's the thing. I think when, you know, I've been, like I said, at shops at different capacities. I think there's certain things that, just like anything else, if people stick with it long enough, like obviously, like the unfortunate aspect of that is like if this thing lingers around for a long time, like people are going to kind of. But I think that's really what's going to change. Is I think if you can keep them happy, if you can keep everything, you know, them supplied, and be a good shop, because I think that's really where, at least in my experience, like that was the thing that people were afraid to go to a shop, because they're like, oh, you know, I went to this shop and these guys, you know, I didn't know anything, and they just didn't want to give me the time of day because I wasn't buying a $6,000 road bike. You know, I think that's really where it comes down to the employees. And I would sit with people for however long they needed. And I mentioned this story the last time, you know, we had a live stream, that like one of my favorite stories was this like mom daughter combo that wanted to do a charity ride, that like came in with like, they said, we want to spend $200 because that's what a bike should cost, from Walmart. this should be the same. But they got into it. They called me after their event because their bike didn't break like all their other friends. Like it still shifted good and they got through the ride. Like those are the people that experience, like her calling me when she didn't have to, just say, thank you, I finished my event. It was the best. Like it went flawlessly, blah, blah, blah. Everything you recommended worked great, you know? And she's like, we ride every weekend now, you know? And that was, she had no idea if they were going to ride more than just the event. But I think that hopefully at the end of this, people are going to stick with it because they have to for a little while. And I think that again, with the resurgence of everyone kind of getting into it, you're going to have, you know, now it's like, I have a few friends that ride, but yeah, potentially like all of our friends, you know, network, now there's a whole bunch of more riders at a different capacity. So I think that community is slowly going to start to come together because you're going to find more people that ride now. Because before, you know, it wasn't everybody. Like, I might have a cruiser in my shed that I, you know, looked at like, you know, last year, but that's it. And so I think that hopefully will help because I think the even though we're all practicing social distancing and everything, but still like getting out with someone or just like, hey, my buddy's going to go out ride. I should go. You know, I think that can be there. And then, you know, the local events and local shops and community stuff like you guys are doing at Pedal Movement, like that totally makes sense because it gives, you know, hey, if this guy only rides at your full moon rides, like, hey, at least he's out there, you know, however, I don't know how many we have of those a year, but that's probably, you know, triple the amount he normally is, you know?
Exactly.
So I think at the end of the day, like that's the kind of stuff, because when I got into cycling, it was group rides. It was I got into fixed gear. That was like my thing. And like the fixed gear, stupid weeknight rides that we would do, like that was what I did it for, you know, like it was just fun. We would, after we would be like done with it, just like, why did we do that? You know, or like, oh man, like someone who like, you know, like you'd look at like who almost died that night, you know, like it was a lot, but like that was those memories that like, there's some things of that I'll never forget. Hey, Russ is in here. Hope your live stream went well, dude. I
guess you one soon.
But yeah, I think that's really where it begins, because like for me, and we can kind of roll this into, I'd love to hear everybody's aspect of this, of like what got you into riding. Because for me, it literally was not this obviously type of thing going on, but for me, literally, I went to my dad's shed, or the shed. I lived at home. I was in college, and I was bored one day because it was like I was like the couple weeks I was off of school. Found his old 60 centimeter like Raleigh road bike. I'm 5'11", so and like this is old school Geo, so like a 60. It might have been a 62 or 3. I don't know. It was a big bike. It was big for him, and he's taller than I am. Got on that thing. Didn't even like know anything about bikes. Put air in the tires. Somehow those tubes held air, and like it had old school tan walls that were like crusty. Like all of it was like flaking off the sides. Had no idea how to shift it. Just like all in my head, I was like, okay, well, I know this gear is like the fastest combo, so I just put it in like the 53, like 11, whatever it was. I was like, yeah, that's what you do. It's like that's how you go fast.
And you decided to ride a bike again after that?
Yeah, I know.
Like a miserable first experience.
Like, so I get it on it. I like have to like lean over and like hop onto it, you know, because like I can't like stand over it. So I'm doing that. I go ride, and I remember it was like couple of rides, and then my dad had one pair of clipless old school Shimano shoes, very old, and we were luckily the same shoe size. Like, all right, I'll try this. It makes sense. I have a like industrial design background. I was like, oh, mechanically like this, yeah, it's more efficient. Like that, totally, let's do it. So I remember I was riding down in like Seal Beach, and I was at a corner. I was like in the street, like gonna make a left, and I'm clipped in on one side, and I tip myself up to sit on the bike, you know, because the seat's slammed because the bike's too big. And I try to clip in and pedal, but I threw myself too hard. So I just like fell over on the other side, in the street with like a car behind me. And like the guy's like wailing on his horn. And I'm like, come on, man. Like I'm on the ground here. Like, it's like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get up. But after that ride, the shoes actually like, I was riding home. The shoes like delaminated from like the soles. Like, because they're so old, they're literally from, I don't know how old they were, but they were sitting in the shed for, you know, however many years, like dry rotting, and they were, you know, cheap shoes. But I just remember that. And I was like, all right, I got to get a bike that fits me now. Like that was it. And then it all snowballed. The channel started later. It was for me, what kept me going. And I think especially in this time, this kind of relates. what kept me going was, for me, it was a complete mental like shut off. When I was riding road and you didn't know what's going on, I don't know what these gears do. It's like you're very aware of just that moment, that road, that car back there, the gear that you're in, because there's nothing, technically challenging right on the road. It's just you have to be aware of what you're doing and whatever.
Don't say that too loud. The road.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, it's just like when you're getting into it, like it's not, a technical trail. There's just like, you got to stay upright, and pedal. And I think for me, it was such a nice break from like life. Like I was working, I was going to college in an accelerated program. So I was like at crazy school, but for that hour or whatever it was, like complete mental shut off. Like I am just in this moment, not thinking about anything else. And that really kept me coming back, because I was just like a moment. Like that's what really got me motivated into it. And then my like need for like messing with stuff and like design and tinkering and making things like look nice and whatever, led into that and kind of snowballed and just rolled right to where I am now. But for me, that was like what kept me into it and grounded. And I think for people that if they do get into this, like I said, for, just not having to think about all the crazy stuff that's going on, that we can't go see our friends regularly or can't even go to a restaurant, eat together. Like, I think getting a break from that, for me, like I said, that's what kept me going. So I'd love to hear everybody's kind of like little backstory and like reasoning. That'd be cool. Aaron, if you want to start.
Yeah. I mean, I think totally right now, what we're seeing is that people are willing to go out on the roads because there are fewer cars and everything too. I mean, just touching on you being, removing a barrier to entry for bikes. It's funny how like all you do is reduce traffic, and so many more people are like, I feel safe on streets now.
Sure.
So it's definitely, something we're paying attention to, of like, oh, well, man, if we're talking about putting in protected bike lanes and stuff, like people always wonder, well, will more people ride bikes? Like, yeah, we're seeing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I had a buddy who, I had like an old Walmart Schwinn full suspension, like 40-pound bike that was miserable.
Yeah. But full spring for downhill.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, if I still had that bike today, it'd be hilarious to just like show it. I'd have to find a picture. But yeah, me and a buddy, would start just go on like the local hills and do some little rides and mountain stuff here. And then he got really into bikes. And so I grew up in Northern California. And so we'd go to Sea Otter every year, and he would just, we'd get on those demo bikes and he would just ride me into the ground. And so I'm like, man, biking sucks, dude. Like I get on these nice bikes, and then he like leads me on these trails, and I'm stranded out somewhere, like walking back because I didn't have legs or anything at the time. So I was turned off the biking for a while, and I finally had a buddy that worked at Specialized, and he was like, here, let me give you he lent me one of, their like loaner bikes that are still $6,000 or $7,000.
Right.
Like nothing I could afford.
Yeah.
Lent me one of those. I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like I could get into doing this. He let me tag along on some of like the Specialized, C, D group level rides. But it really wasn't. So I had that bike for a while, and I had like an around town fixie. And it wasn't until I ended up selling both my LA and a fixie and got a breezer Doppler drop bar. Oh yeah, you guys have the breezers too.
I was gonna say, I was like, they're right there.
Oh yeah, it's right there. It's on the wall, except for mine's blue. But yeah, that was like the best decision I think that I made it for getting into biking. Because that bike, just the more supple tires, the like ability to kind of go out on some gravel roads, and do, I have byways on it. And so I can totally just go on some road rides. I can hop on a fire roads. That unlocked it for me. And ever since I got that bike, it's been just like the most fun. I think I take it a lot less seriously. When I hop on a road bike, I feel like I have to be wearing the right outfit, and like how, what length are my socks, and all that jazz that like, it's fun. It's cool to look cool when you're riding. But on the flip side of that, I love just being like, well, I'm just going to go out wearing a t-shirt and a flannel and, my sandals, and just go cruise around. And, getting into bike packing too, I think just started to combine a couple different loves of like, I can go a lot further on a bike than I can on foot, but I can still, you know, set up camp and like got connected with the camp coffee scene here in LA. And like those guys are awesome. And I still, you know, go out and ride with them. But I think just unlocking like the fun when I stopped taking cycling so seriously is when it totally unlocked and became really fun for me. I'm not ever going to be the strong person that's like doing races or winning anything or, you know, crushing huge miles or huge days. But I think I'd put up a good competition for someone having the most fun out on a bike.
Hey, there's an award for that somewhere, right?
Yeah. Somebody make me an award. I want one.
I'll make you one.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the gravel casual thing. I made a video on that. Like I was like, because I was in like my fixed gear days. It was originally t-shirt and jeans, and then it progressed into like road, lycra, and then like now it's like like I rode yesterday in like a Hawaiian t-shirt like that I found like for my it was a Hawaiian t-shirt I used for like a Tom Selleck like Hawaiian costume or like costume for Halloween last year. Like I was like, oh, it's super comfortable. Like I get it, you know, like I was like, oh man, the breeze is nice. Like I was like, it was super hot and I'm like, no man, this thing's not gonna breathe enough. Like I gotta, you know, it's hot today. I got to wear lycra. And I was like, no, this is great. Like, you know, just you do one extra button undone, you know, for the full effect and full breeze. And
I showed up to a Cub House ride in lycra and felt super out of place. Everyone else just like fled, you know.
Was it a lazy Sunday ride?
No, it was their birthday ride.
Oh, okay.
They did like their idea of a fun time on their birthday is it's like 95 degrees and they go do Lukens and it's just about killed me, but gravel casual all the way. I've learned now now you don't look cool if you're not wearing like something, you know, something hip.
Like I need to find like purple Hawaiian shirts for my bike to match. Like that's what I've been like stalking. Like, I mean, granted, I can't like look at Goodwills anymore, but like Amazon, like I will look for like a purple Hawaiian shirt, you know, like that's the thing. Okay. So the KaiVenture couple, what about for both of you? What was your origin stories?
Well, I think mine stems from his, so I'll let him go first.
Okay.
Yeah, it does, actually. Go ahead.
I started before I even had memories. I started like on 2 years old with training wheels, and then I don't hardly remember that. I more remember when I got my more new bike at like 3 years old, I think, or 4. It was a white Power Ranger bike, and it was badass.
Ooh, yeah.
And that
That's
also
awesome.
like scarred a memory in me because like I know within the first week or so, riding around in the where I live was what do you call it? Townhouses, but it was gated.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm flying up and down the little driveway and had the speed bumps. I hit one of the bumps. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get air. Instead, I ended up going Superman over the bars and just scorpion. But raspberry got on my face and ended up being like a nice little good raspberry hair in the dead center of my freaking forehead. So I like a good little bead right there. That's what that one's still.
And he's been sending it ever since.
So. Yeah. No, he started like the dawn of dinosaurs.
Started there, and then it just turned.
He peaked, and then he's just like, "Well, it'll never hurt this much again." So like,
pretty much. I mean, from there, I started making all these sketch ass ramps out of plywood and bricks in front of my grandma's house every week. So you know how that went. All the neighborhood kids come by with all the bikes, and we just started jumping this thing, get the most air. Had a lot of bad accidents with that one. A lot of fun accidents with that.
What did you start next? Mountain bike or road cycling?
That was all.
What do you consider like you getting
BMX,
not serious, but like got into it? Like would so BMX?
I mean, everything mostly just riding in general. Just started as a kid, never stopped. Commuting, everything, riding BMX bike, get around. Got into it. Like, I guess I had money and started buying stuff. And I guess adult wise, it's like 16 when I got my first mountain bike, full suspension. That was actually my first legit, real expensive ass bike. That can handle some good stuff and start hitting trails. And I was like, oh, what?
Do you remember what that was?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's Iron Horse Desperado. I'll never forget.
Oh, an Iron Horse. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
2000. Yeah, that was 2004 Iron Horse Desperado. The iron green one. She was badass.
I love that you can say
town and then
say the name of the color.
Canyon.
Yeah.
I got taken to Wet Canyon, got introduced to what downhill and freestyle riding was and hitting jumps. I was like, oh, my God, this is even better. Took a step down, didn't realize there's a landing pad. I was like, oh shit. And ended up just crushing the forking on that one. So upgraded to a Marzocchi fork. And so that's where the addiction really started of just, okay, we can get even more crazy, sturdier parts. Oh dear. So I ended up over beefing this thing into like this trail downhill bike by the end of it, of this like year going through this, until I finally just got around to getting a big boy bike, and I got a downhill bike, an Iron Horse Yakuza.
There you go.
And a lot of other bikes. I just said, you've had trail bikes. They're in, started building up an arsenal at one point. I had like 12 bikes. So damn many. And then I left for the army, so I had to sell a lot of my stuff. So I got rid of a lot of my bikes.
Okay, so I have to ask, because usually guys who like go to the army, they'll like usually like a lot of guys I know are into cars. So they'll like, they'll buy or build something like on the side. Did you like come home and like buy like 8 bikes?
Came back, got back into BMX and cars. So actually it went both ways.
Okay,
so
there you go. There it is.
BMX, but with like 12 Hondas that ended up building and trading those years. But stayed BMXing. And then by the end of it, my last one got stolen. I just knew it was. I just had that whole feeling. I was like, it was a 2000 SI. So I was like, yep, this is going to be the one, totally. And it did. So at that point, I was like, okay, fuck this. Again, just cashing out. Got myself a mountain bike. Got back into mountain biking. Got a big boy car. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going back to bikes. Screw cars
there
now.
You go.
So started again, go back into mountain biking. I got what was it? It was an REI bike, but basically the Trek. It was the Novara Method 2.0 or something like that. It was basically a Trek session with a dual geometry, so you could adjust it from like 4.5 to 6.5 inches of travel. And then I built that up with a totem with adjustable travel too. So this was just overbuilt beef bike. Downhill to trail that one.
You were like king of franken-bikes there.
Oh, you have no idea. Like literally, you're not gonna believe it, but I literally called and built gravel before it started becoming a thing, and the industry started building it. I kept talking about I want to build this bike, and do all this stuff crazy. I want to be off-road, mountain bike wheels. I want to do road bike wheels. I'm gonna build sentries on it, but I want to be lightweight. I want to be strong, sturdy, maybe even a dropper post. And everyone's like talking shit. Oh, it's bullshit, stupid, blah blah blah. Guess what's the new? Exactly what I explained now. Who's building them? Exactly. The industry. I was like, oh god, it's hilarious. They even made it freaking, what is the MCR, the magic carpet, right?
Yeah,
Holy
that
crap,
thing. Yeah,
that's more than everything I ever did. I never went that extreme. Right?
Yeah, I mean the set. It's crazy. Like the setup I'm running right now that I'm going to be testing out for like video review is the Redshift stem and seat post like combo together on my Cobalt Warhawk that I built. And yeah, it's like I wrote it, and there's few things in this like that I've been in for like this industry that like not a game changer, but like I'm aware. Like the first time I rode an mountain bike, I pedaled it, and it was a giant and I put it on max. And that's why I told people whenever I did test rides for people, I would crank it up to like level 5. I'm like, just do it. Because that's the best. Fun. Like you breathe on it and you're doing 350 watts. Like it was great. And I did this group ride with my old shop, and I was taking pictures for this event and everything. So it was awesome. We were doing the Fullerton Loop, and there's this like, the big steep climb. I'm laughing at people taking pictures, like PRing the whole climb, like as everybody's like dying, like, and trying to like pedal up it. So I would like go up, I'd pass everyone, take pictures, let the whole like 40 people group pass, and then I'd be able to like sprint up and go to the again. And just like and especially all the racers. I was just like, like taking pictures of them, like, and it was great. And that was like the coolest thing. I'm like, man, I was like, these are fun. I was like, regular bikes suck. Like this is cool. Like and that, and then like. There's certain innovations in the market that are cool. I think where gravel's going is insane. I really love it because I like, just like Kai, like I love tinkering with stuff. Like half the stuff on my bike was just all like, all right, let's hodgepodge this together. This should work. Like let's just try it. Before things like got designed that way. And then like I put this like Redshift seat post on there. Granted, it is heavy. But like I rode it like down the street, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" Like because I could run full PSI and like shred down like the gravel like river trail part, because it's a lot of like high frequency or like little whoops. Yeah. You can put full power, full gas, and stay seated, and like nothing affects you because it takes up so much of like the compliance. It's gnarly.
You might have just sold me on one of those. Now I'm so curious.
Literally, it's crazy. Like I got on it, and like I had to play with the preload of like kind of what they recommended versus what I like because I'm not used to it. But literally, there was parts where I would kind of unweight the seat like you normally do, And then my buddy Mario, who was like I was riding with, he was like, dude, you got to sit down, like, just to see how it is.
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing is like and Kai, you guys just did it. Like the wooden bridges like across the river trail that like always like kind of go back and forth on Sart.
Yeah.
Full gas, like just like nothing, because like you're not bouncing up and down. You're just like it's that was like the funniest part where you can see it because he's behind me. He's like, dude, I can see the thing like moving around.
That's how the carb gobblers.
Yeah, no,
cool.
exactly.
The
Yeah.
CGR. That's how I even rode behind my uncle. I'm watching his ass go like just like this. I'm like, that thing really moves a few millimeters, like almost a half inch. I have
the 3T old school. They don't make it anymore. I'm assuming they should again, but it's the diff lock, so it's got like that circular head on it, but it's got like a piece of elastomer around it, so it's got the same travel as the Cobble Gobbler. This thing has like I think 30 mil of travel. The cool thing with it, the cool thing is it keeps the saddle level. So as the travel happens, it's progressive and it keeps it in line, so it doesn't feel weird. That's what I was worried that was, because there was some that like tip, or like it kind of bounces, but it either So this, how they designed it was super cool. And I went to Sea Otter last year. Supposedly, they're supposed to make a dropper version of this, which I can't imagine how heavy that's going to be. But I've ridden a dropper before on my old like rigid bike, and I noticed the ride difference between the carbon post and the dropper because the dropper is more rigid. But that I don't know. But like seriously, it's insane. Like
that setup would weigh like more than your frame does.
Oh no, yeah, no. That setup, I think between the stem and the seat post compared to my light setup is it's like 1.2 pounds heavier overall.
Yeah,
and like granted, some of it. Yeah, but some of that is in the seat too, because I don't run like a super lightweight seat on that setup. But like a pound or so, and depending on stem length and depending on what you're running, and all that, so it's not terrible. But like I'm excited to do like a downhill like seated descent on that thing and see how it goes. Wow. Yeah, but sorry. Yeah, we got one more bike story.
Oh, mine.
We got super short.
Yeah, mine's pretty short. I started as a kid. I learned how to ride a bike as a kid, and then when I met him, it's when I first got my gravel bike and started riding around. So he actually documented my journey, like from starting to now, pretty much. So when I first got my first bike to riding around the trails, I didn't even know the trails existed beforehand. So until he put me on them, and then we did the bike tour, and then now we're doing all the rides now.
Yeah.
That we're doing.
So how long have you been like serious riding? Because what you do yesterday for your birthday ride, was that a century?
Just about.
Yeah. Our computers died, so we really don't know.
So we started doing extra credit everywhere.
Fun.
So
call it a century.
At the very minimum, just a direct route would have been 85 miles. So plus all the extra credit we did, going for lunch and then back and forth, and then veered off into a park and did gravel. It's like we did about 95, I think. That's almost a century.
So how long? The beauty of it.
So what's the time frame for first gravel bike to like now for you?
When I got my first one was when I met him. When did we meet? Like 2018?
Mm-hmm.
2018. And then I got, and then he said he wanted to do a tour. Like I hadn't even been riding that long. And he was like, I want to do this tour. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, you need an adventure bike first. And I was like, okay. So I'm at work and I'm on my break and I'm like looking at bikes. And
she's on the Walmart website. Like, yeah, this would do fine.
No, I don't look at Walmart.
Aaron's hardtail would have been totally fine for that tour.
She found a bike shop I didn't even know about.
Yeah, I found a bike shop online.
Oh, she found Breezer.
That's how I found Breezer. Yeah, I found it online, and then I bought it. I bought it there. Like my coworker was with me, and I was like, I'm gonna buy this bike, and I bought it. And he filled it for me, and then we started riding around and started like trying to get used to the steel and the weight and trying to go up. So he put me up Baldy, put me everywhere.
That's your first climb?
Yeah. Pretty much. He took me on Marshall on my Roubaix with skinny tires.
That's
a badass rider because of it now. I think
I did it yesterday.
I just gave her the express course. That's all.
Express course.
Boot camp. There you go. That's that. There you go. It's military style. Okay, boot camp.
So what was the first tour that you did?
Portland, Oregon to Santa Monica.
No,
and
Catalina.
That's a good ride.
Catalina. Sorry, that's a tour.
Oh, Catalina was my first little bikepacking weekend.
So so that's something I want to do. So what's the like? Do you do the like roundabout tour? Do you go through the middle? What's if you guys have done it?
We went from Avalon to Two Harbors in one day.
is that like you said, is that through the middle?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Like it's
well, it depends. There's different routes, but there's a main. You have to go from was it Avalon? Right? Yeah, Avalon. There is only one route that we're allowed on to get to the backside, and then from there you can take like a few different trails, or you can go back to the other way. But basically, to get to Two Harbors, there's kind of only really one way for bikes.
Yeah, I tell you.
For the most part.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's something I definitely want to do after all this.
It is very cool. There's
it is badass. Definitely. Yeah, you got your budget built now. You're gonna need that because you get some.
I heard I saw the route.
Let's just say they had to stop making events there because people stopped showing up because it just sucked how much climbing goes.
They had grand
really?
Like just for us, we did. There and back was almost 60 miles and like 8,000 feet of climbing just for one day. Yeah, that was just our day for adventuring. We're like, oh shit, oh well.
You did it in one day, or you?
That was just we left in the morning. Went. We're like, hey, had lunch, beautiful day, and then came back and we got back at like 9 o'clock at night, I think.
Nice. Wow. No, I cruised up, got into Avalon, did the climb up out of Avalon, which is a brutal climb. I'm like, oh, welcome to Catalina. This is going to be terrible. But went up over to Two Harbors, and then you don't even like. It's a super nice intro backpacking trip too. I always recommend it to people as their first one because you can bring as little or as much gear as you want. You can just go to Two Harbors and like get a burger and a beer and chill on the beach and like bring no food at all. Or you could bring your whole camping setup and all that. And
don't they have like is that where the teepees are, or like the impromptu like little, not cabins, but like little?
Yeah, they have
like
little tent cabins and all that. Yeah. You can kind of you could go as far as renting an Airbnb, or you could go as chill. I just like brought a tarp, flip the bike over, did the tarp over. It's a blast though. It's a really great trip. I want to go back. Let me know when you're when you want to hit it up.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be super cool. Yeah, no, that's something that I've definitely wanted to do. I had one awful biking like story from Catalina, but it wasn't like a bike packing trip. It was like me and an ex-girlfriend like took the beach cruiser like to the flower garden or whatever that way is. Like there's like some kind of like it's like a little sanctuary, but it's just like succulents and it's real cool. There's like some structure there or whatever. She really wanted to see it. And she didn't want to take the mountain bike. They had like she wanted a tandem also. Worst experience ever. Okay. So we get like, they had it's like a 27 speed mountain bike or like a 3-speed tandem cruiser. And it's an island bike. So obviously pretty rough. And I was working at a shop, was into cycling. Like I was in good shape, a lot lighter than I am now. I was like primo fitness. And she's like, yeah, let's just go up it. And the guy, he showed me, he's like, okay, where you want to go? And I said, she wants to go here. And he's like, all right, so here's the map. He's like, all the green lane that you see around the island, that's like beach cruiser-able, okay? And then all the red stuff, that's mountain bike have to because it's so steep. The one place we wanted to go, he's like, you're in the yellow? And I was like, what does that mean? He's like, well, it's going to more, but like you probably can do it.
Weird. He just went behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Like,
so we ride up there. And this is why I don't recommend tandems for couples, because like I was just like livid the whole time. Like I'm not an angry person, but like man, that was just like it felt like she was just doing this in the back. And I'm standing, like cranking that thing, just like it's squeaking, squawking the whole way up. And I'm again peak of physical fitness for myself, and just dead by the time we get up. It was it was like 2 miles. I don't know. It was just like, but. Also, the bike was 80 pounds or more. And then she was barely probably helping. I don't know. But we get up there. I kick the bike. I'm like, screw it. Let's just go look at flowers. I don't know what we're doing. And then on the way back, it's a downhill. So I was like, oh, it's going to be great. We're going to be able to coast the whole way, which was cool until I realized that when I went to go squeeze the brakes, they were grabbed fine on the flat, but I hit full grip with and it was just scrubbing speed. Like just raising the rim, and we're doing. Granted, I didn't have a speedo on there. I'm assuming we were doing 35 plus miles an hour.
My heart just started beating so fast.
Easy.
I'm so scared for you guys.
There's that one cantina right next to the golf course that's like in that little caddy corner area. Okay, the Mexican cantina, great place by the way. So we're flying down that little it's a 2 to maybe 4% decline, but flying because of the weight, obviously.
Oh man.
And I'm hitting the brakes. Nothing. There's no coaster brake on that thing. And so I was just like, and I looked at her and I just yelled at her and I said, whatever I tell you to do, like, you just need to do it. Don't ask questions. Like, we're going to have to bank right. I know this one street that has this like big kind of uphill section that's going to slow us down. So I was like, I was like, turn left. And we like leaned it left into the opposite lane, hooked it right to like make this like 90-degree turn. And then luckily no one was going through the intersection, slowed the bike down. And I'm, again, livid. Get to the bike shop and I'd lit that guy a new one. I'm like, bro, like I could have died if it wasn't me. Like this place would have been shut down. Like it was insane. And
boy.
And then we just went to the cantina and I just had enough beers to where I'd calm down. So
yeah. That's where I ended up.
The only time I've ridden in Catalina, almost died. So yeah, and it's again set the bar very low. Yeah. So everything else is gonna be fine.
give it another chance. You'll have a good time.
Yeah, you might see a bull. We gotta see one.
A buffalo.
Oh yeah.
Or the buffalo.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Don't try to pet them.
They
holy shit, huge.
My very first. Oh, what was that?
Did you try to pet one?
No, we're just saying don't pet one.
Oh, okay.
We were really close. We didn't even realize. We're like, oh, what? We just passed. There's one right there.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They're huge.
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 Don't go pet them. Don't get close to them.
Yeah. The very first tour that I did was just Monterey through Big Sur down to San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
But that LA that I had was the only bike that I had at the time. And like, so we jerry-rigged a rack onto the back of it and we couldn't put anything on the front of it. And so the thing was like, if you ever so slightly pulled up on the handlebars, the whole bike just like flipped back because it was so much weight.
The wheelie machine. Yeah.
It was, road bike gearing. I think it was compact, luckily, but like no low grand gear at all. Not a touring bike, nothing. All the weight on the back, rim brakes going through Big Sur. That's just like thousands of feet of up and down.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it, but I will say you can tour on anything. I learned that. So whatever bike you have, go try bike packing on it.
Yeah. I think that's where, like we talked about a little bit last week, is like that's the cool thing I love with like the frame bags that like Kai's making and all that stuff. It's like no matter what you have, you can take you can take whatever you have at home, however old it is, however many spiders are in there. Yeah, like if you can fix it up and get it running, that's why we were joking last week. I was like, Kai's gonna make like a new like cruiser line of bags,
Yeah.
So but I think that's really where it's cool. It's like hey, I can't afford another. I mean, realistically, for me, the best like budget gravel bike, like for the money, one of them is like the Giant Revolt. It's $1,000, but that's a lot of money. But you can also get like a couple of bags and run whatever you got. If you got your 1982 Rockhopper like in the garage, like you can get that thing to work and put some bags on it and like go cruise. Like I think that's really where, it does open up a cool aspect of it.
Totally.
And I think that's where the community, like now, I think part of, and I harped on this a little bit last week too, is like, I think the community is like awesome for gravel because it's those old touring guys, that like they've seen some shit, and they've gone through, like they've done the cross continental, whatever, like 8 times. And then it's just, the guy who's getting into it. And it's just you share these stories and these moments and you all learn something together. And, I think that's just a beautiful thing. And like, what was that documentary with on Netflix? It's not on there anymore. It was about the transcontinental race with Mike Hall. It was like
I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Like born to. It was like Born to Ride or something like that, where it was about him getting the world record basically from like Oregon to New York, and he did it in like 17 and a half days or something stupid. Like he was averaging like 350 miles a day. Dude was nuts.
What?
Like,
wow.
He would sleep every like third day in a bivvy for like 3 seconds at like a park bench, and then like dude was and it was all self-supported.
Yeah,
amazing movie. Highly recommend if anybody's watching this. I think you can rent it on Amazon. I'm butchering the name. I'll add it in the description if I remember it later.
Yeah, we'll find it.
It's inspiring. Like I've watched it 3 or 4 times with different people, and literally you watch them like, yeah, dude, like Arizona's not that far. Like, let's go. Like, like, and so I think that was, there's stuff like that to where I think it basically is bike packing, because these people have to literally self-support, go across the country and ride however many miles that is or whatever. And there's guys that did it, at the what they called the Clydesdale pace, and they did it in a month, which is still to me like gnarly.
Yeah,
and then like the guys who then the guys who were like crushing it were doing sub 20 days. It was crazy,
Wow.
But I think that's like, it's this whole movement. I think those are the people that like, I would love to talk to somebody like mid, like 1,000-mile tour. Like, what's up, dude? Like, how you doing? Like, let me buy you lunch. Like, cause like, you know what I mean? Like those are the moments you like never forget,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely am not the first person to say that the best bike to go bike pack on is the bike that you have.
Yeah.
And especially when you can just strap bags on it, and
we can strap bikes on too. Kai, you got stuff for that, right?
Bikes on bikes, cargo biking. But I mean, even here, I'm like writing a thing for Bike Packing Magazine right now, just on like the beauty of sub 24-hour little trips, and especially here in Southern California and LA. You can go up the Mount Low truck road and in like 6 miles be at a trail camp, and you could be back at your house ready to work the next morning. It's just great. I think it's way more accessible than people realize that it is. And I definitely don't ever want to paint the picture of like, you need this bike and you need these bags and this gear to be able to go do it. It's like,
or you have to do 100 miles to like make it worth it.
Yeah, exactly. No, don't. I mean, go on a big tour if you want to, or go on a 12-mile little overnight camping trip, and you'll have a great time both ways.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or an all-day adventure, morning and night, like we do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like Ryan Deucer went to his mom's backyard.
Oh, that one's funny.
And camped.
Mm-hmm.
Small rides like that.
Good. On his cruiser.
Yeah, that was great.
Also too, speaking of what Michael said back then, where like you want to meet someone who's like on a 1,000-mile tour or whatever. Like we went there and like we were having lunch and a lady came up to us and said, "Where are you guys heading?" Like they're just starting to talk to us. And
everyone's talking to you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they're just kind of like
random people. Actually, a lady randomly, this was an odd one in the middle of nowhere. It was the only place to eat too. So we saw this joint with a little burger. What was it called? It was so good. I can't remember. But anyways, this lady that lives close to there in the little town starts talking to us and then tells us about warm showers. I was like, "Oh, do you guys know about this?" Yeah, and then it turns out she's part of it. She's been doing it for like decades. And she ended up housing like some of these major pros, like what's her name, Lael, and the other one, is it Amy or?
I can't help you.
The one that writes for Specialized.
No, I don't know. If
she was like one of the first ones.
One of the first ones, not other than Lael from Alaska. I think she was from Alaska too.
Oh yeah.
Not Lael though, the other one.
Yeah, it's a different one.
I forgot her name, but she actually met her and housed her like multiple times. That was crazy. Like the small people.
Text.
Dude, it's crazy. The culture, the richness, just the people you meet, the experiences is beautiful.
All food is good. All food is good on tour.
Yeah. I saw that. Also,
as soon as you get low.
I saw Sean's comment on the downhill between Andrew Malera. That is super. Like, I love it. I've since like gone back and ridden sections of the road, and that one's awesome. But so I'm on this like aluminum Malay on 23s, loaded down with like 40 pounds of gear on a rack that is not
120 psi in the rear, so it doesn't rub on the ground.
Dude, it was, in hindsight, things could have gone so badly if like I'd gotten a puncture or the brakes heated up, anything. But
I've heard people exploding rims.
Oh yeah,
I was overheating them.
I was ignorant. I was just totally ignorant, and so I had a great time, and I agree that downhill section is primo. As soon as we're able to go out and do this stuff again, I can't wait.
Along with that, ironically, there's a lot of construction when we were doing our tours. We got actually lucky because it was during the middle of that that they just passed that bill that they started putting all this money into the highway, and it was right in the middle of that month. Like all these patches were having all these new construction and getting new tarmac down, bridges or some of them be redone. So we get the road held for us a lot, and we get first dibs to go. So we're like, all right, you guys go, and we just take it, and traffic would wait behind us, and we just boom leave traffic behind. So we have the whole road to ourselves. So we just hog it because it can only be allowed for one lane. One way goes, or the other one goes. So every time we went, we were guaranteed we had no head-on traffic, so we could take the whole road. And dude, it was beautiful for so much of it, just taking the whole road for ourselves. It was badass.
So we could also stop wherever we wanted to.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
we
that's
stopped
super
and had
cool.
some cliffside lunches. That was fun. That was so beautiful.
So what would has any do any of you have any like great like met like the random stranger thing at the burger place, like met somebody who like bought you lunch or like had a killer story like while on tour, like somebody who was like
A lot of
overly
those.
nice? Really?
Yeah,
What was
we
your
did.
favorite
Like, I
then?
can't
Okay.
remember the main ones. There's just so many. It's just so beautiful and just heartwarming when you meet them.
I know
It's just,
one.
Okay.
Okay, so we were gonna go up this highway, and Kai was like, "Oh, just get prepared."
that
you
one
know?
was good.
And
That
it
guy
was
was
like
insane.
a
That was
highway
insane.
all the way up, and he was like, "Prepare to climb." And I was like, "Okay." And we have like all our packs and stuff. And this dude came, and he was like, "Hey."
We're at
He
the
was like,
freeway
come-
entrance.
Yeah, he was in his truck, and he was like, trying to drive next to us, and he's like, "Hey, where you going?" You know?
Stopping traffic.
And like he pulled over, and he just stopped to talk to us. We talked about our tour and stuff like that. He's like, "Oh, you don't want to go up this road." He's like, "You want to go back around?" He showed us like a different dirt path that like goes back up and is away from traffic.
He
And
probably
like,
saved our lives.
yeah, he's like, allowed on the
Literally.
highway.
I thought he was gonna like get on the shoulder and like draft for you guys or something like that.
No.
We had that one happen
We
before.
have that.
We had
really?
that happen
Come
multiple
on.
times. I love those. Those are hilarious. I had that happen on my
awesome.
way to work when I commute to all the way to San Dimas. I had that happen a few times. It turned out one of the guy was actually like, I think an employee from another bike shop, from like Jack's or something. And he ended up pulling me for like, oh, I don't even know, dude, like literally a whole city behind his Mini Cooper. That was badass. That was hilarious. For like
Nice.
35 miles an hour. And then on tour, we had a few people actually did that. They actually either block traffic for us and would just hold up everybody behind us on narrow roads, especially like on the one and the highways. And then also just in general, just so much niceness, dude. It's crazy.
This guy's
Yeah.
killing it in the
Yeah,
comments. Sorry guys,
Yeah.
like this is great.
John's
What's
great.
on?
Sean, I want to go
Oh.
on a tour with you. Just tell me.
Yeah.
I'll
Seriously,
go
when and
anywhere.
where?
Oh, this would be great.
We also met an engineer on he
Oh yeah, he was so cool.
Yeah, he
Steve.
said that, he was Steven, like he went on all these tours and stuff like that. He built like all the buildings, like almost all of them in LA, right? Like all the main
Actually,
hospitals.
a lot of the modern ones too. My favorite ones turned out in the Pasadena one, a couple in LA. Yeah, all the
He
architects.
stopped us. We
And
were
also
in
be a tourist.
Ventura, and he stopped us, and we just sat there at the park with him while he was playing with his dog, like for hours talking about bike packing. And he was like, "Oh, you want to do this? You want to go this road?" We asked him about roads, but
He knew
take
every
back
road
home.
off the back of his head. He doesn't even use GPS, never has. He like his story was insane. He
Wow.
literally his life all the way through was basically like after high school realized, screw
all-
working. You make less if you work more. So I'm gonna work what I need and then just go enjoy my life. So he would just work for like 3 to 6 months and then go leave on tour anywhere for like 6 to 9 months and then come
Wow.
back every
He was
year.
the free van life
Especially around the
guy.
summer side. Dude, it was
Yep.
he did that every year. He never missed a year. This guy was like 6 something. And he was still like doing bigger tours by then, but he knew everywhere, especially in California to Oregon.
Damn.
He would for like every year for his summers, when he first started, he would tell us after high school was go to Canada. He'd go to Canada and come back and do it in 3 months. Take the whole summer to do it every summer, and then go back to work and then do it again next year. Do a different one. Go to New York.
Cool.
Dude, it was insane. The stories heard from this
Crazy.
guy was
And
so
he
inspiring.
wasn't racing either. He was like, "I'll do 20 miles this day. Go hang out right here, drink something."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'll go do another next day, like 50 miles." And he was just like, I just wanted to have
Whatever I
relax and
felt.
have fun. And he was just like, just tour. Just
Super
have fun,
cool guy.
vacation. And that's what we want to inspire too. We want people to get out. Even if it's a small tour, just get out there, ride. We just rode to the mailbox and back. Just get out there. That I think like my perspective on it, because I'm new to it. You guys are all like in the like mechanical side, and you guys want to build your bikes and build everything, and I'm like new to it. So I see all the new people. Like I had a coworker who's a charge nurse in a clinic, and he says that he hasn't touched his bike in like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it's flat. He doesn't even know how to like put air in it. So I was like, those are the people I want to target. I was like, I'll take you guys on a ride. We'll show you guys how fun it is.
Yeah.
Like you don't know. And I'm thinking, Aaron, you guys have like classes on like you guys could probably do seminars and stuff like that, how to teach people how to like commute on the road,
Repairs, fix a
repairs,
tube, flats,
what to
stuff like that,
take, the
patches,
lights, how to like
Yeah.
move around people, how to
signals,
signal.
hand signals.
We've been doing a whole series on Instagram where on Tuesdays and Thursdays they're tune-up tea days.
Nice,
and we'll just
smart.
be like little basic things, everything from how to fix a flat to like how to lock your bike up to like kind of the most elementary things that I think a lot of shops, like we were mentioning earlier, people come in and they're embarrassed to ask these questions because they're like so introductory. But when you're just starting, you don't know.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to kind of fill that gap with education of like, here are the things that you might be too afraid to ask, or that might feel too elementary to even tell someone, but everyone has to learn it for the first time. So we're trying to, we do classes usually, but during this time we're doing everything we can to like still get people plugged in and still get people, learning stuff online. I mean, like you're doing, like everyone's doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like the beauty of it. Like I remember I went to an event a long time ago, and like somebody came up to me and was like, "Bro, you taught me how to like change a tube," and I was like, "Oh, dude, that's awesome, man!" I was like, "It sucks, great. Right?" And he's like, "Yeah, dude, like but that was it was super cool. Like that's the thing is like it's the small victories. Like it's all like it's really cool when you can get somebody into something. And I tell everybody, like, yeah, you can be at this in any capacity. Totally. You can be at like the crack addict level, like I am, and you can be at like the like, hey, I'm just dabbling in it, like that's where it is. Like, it can be different things for different people. And I've always told people that like I'll like want to get into it or want to ride or like, hey, can you help me buy a bike? Like for whatever reason, if it's commuting or road riding or they want to do a triathlon or whatever, and I'll always get the, oh, well, I feel bad like riding with you because like I'm gonna be slow. I'm like, I'm slow too.
Come
like,
on.
I get that all the time too.
But like too, it's like, you know what? Like for me, the difference is if you're riding at 100%, like this is like you are giving it, like I am there with you all day. Like I will do whatever. If that means like I'm trying to get a workout in or whatever, and I'm over gearing myself to like make it harder, like I'll do that. I'll compensate. But like if I'm going to go out with buddies who's like talking game, like, oh dude, we're going to crush some miles, man. Like I'm going to PR that whatever. And then homie's like walking up like a mild, like freeway overpass. Like, then I'm like, like it's kind of annoyed, like, cause it's false advertisement. Yeah. But like, like, no, dude, like to just tell me you want to do a t-shirt ride. Like I'm good with it. Like, just tell me what you want to do. I think those are the best thing. Like for me, especially with gravel, it's become more of like a, enjoyable thing where I'm not out there to like completely wreck myself every ride. Yeah. Am I going to start trying to train for Grinduro because I'm not in Grinduro level of shape? Yes. Will I sit on Zwift for that 45 minutes because it's a lot faster to do that than like trying to go out and ride? Yeah. But I'm still going to want to go do like the weekend or like the night rides or whatever. Totally. And I'll do the supportive work just because it's efficient, because that means that it's less miles of me. Like, I can, when I'm out, I'm enjoying it. When I'm in, I'm structured. I think that's where, it evolves for everybody for different reasons.
Yeah. And
sorry,
Aaron, go ahead.
No, you go.
Ladies first on this live stream. Come on.
Right?
I was just going to back up what you said about the meditation part. Like you're just riding and you just like lose yourself in riding in the miles and you're just in that moment.
Dude, we got a comment about it somewhere up there.
About riding?
About being in the moment.
Oh, yeah. He said you stop pedaling.
Where'd he go?
Hell yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you zone, like, especially that's why I love like new trails. Like you're soaking it in. You don't know what to expect. And if you're thinking about work or whatever else is like going on, like you're not going to, and I think that's where I really like enjoy it now, because that's why I think I got into gravel too, is just like I rode road for a long time after fixed, which is still road obviously, but like I just got bored of the same trails. So now it's like, no matter basically whatever tire I'm on, if I can look over, I'm like, oh, that looks cool. Like I can probably go do it. Yeah. That's like a really awesome concept,
Totally.
Or you can pass all the roadies going in the dirt,
Oh, that's my favorite. That's my favorite thing to do.
The Sun Anniversary.
Like, yes. Oh, the best was I was commuting back.
Pissing off some e-bikes yesterday or Friday.
Oh yeah.
Like there was a couple of guys I'd always see like commuting home, because usually when I'd ride to my shop, I'd go very direct like on the streets, and then home I would kind of do like half a Fullerton loop and then hit SART and do like some extra mileage and come back. But I'd always see certain guys like commuting full Lycra, maybe like a very thin Camelback with like, clothes in it kind of deal, or like a really minimal backpack on, their aero wheels and whatever. And I'm on my byways on my giant TCX, like cross bike, like sucking wheel. Like I can't pass them, but I'm going to make them real mad the whole time, like, cause I'm holding on, like, and that's my favorite. Cause like, it's those guys that are too pretentious. Like, dude, come on, man. Like, we're all having a good time. Like, my favorite one of that was I was on what now I'm considering my all-road steel custom bike, and I was doing the LA Century, and there was some dude Canyon Aero Road, like whatever the nicest one was. It had like the 88 mil like Reynolds wheels, E-tap, the whole bit. Granted, my bike's E-tap and stuff, like it's nice, but I had 32 that were basically 35s on the rims I was running. Big boy beats. Yeah. And I'm in a Pokemon kit. Okay. Dude's got Giro Air Attack helmet on in like a skin suit for like basically like a charity 100-mile ride. Yeah. And I caught up with his buddies, and they're all laughing at me. They're like, dude, this is great. They're like, you gotta get right behind him. And I was like, all right. And I'm just like sucking his wheel, and he keeps looking back because I mean, beefy dude, like dude was in shape, like just putting in watts. And like he couldn't shake me. Granted, he was in a headwind or whatever, but like I sucked his wheel, and he was so mad. And then his buddies were behind me, and they start cracking up. They're laughing so hard they're dropping me, like to where because they're just like they're all like, dude, he's so pissed. Like, come on, like. Pokemon kit, big old tires, like steel bike. Dude's on like the most aero, like one of the most aero bike setups like you can get. Yeah, and it was great. It was just fantastic. Like I totally regretted doing an effort for that long, but it was like just for the memes. Like that was it. Like I was just I was
pissed someone off on Friday going to the beach like for the last like 6 miles on the river trail. So 2 guys were on an e-bike, and I wasn't doing it intentionally, but he was on the Townie Cruisers. The e-bikes, but I think he had fucking the throttle assist without the pedal. So he every time I get on his tail, like I was trying to get out of the way, so we kind of got slingshotted ahead of him. Like, cool, so we're going, and then he comes up behind us and then just flies past us with the motor full throttle going. And then I'm like, okay. And then he's so big, he's upright as hell, so he's a super big, nice big drag for me. He kind of just sucks me in. And so I'm like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, hey, stay on my wheel. He starts sucking us, and then he started picking up too much speed since he's full throttling this thing. Those things go, what, 28 miles an hour? So then he's slingshotting me. I'm on steel. Exactly. I'm on steel. So we pick up weight, we pick up speed, we fly. So he slingshots me, and I'm just going, happy dude. He gets all mad. And I'm going, and then literally about a minute later, I see him come up again. Pass me up, get in front of me, like cut me off, keep going, I'm just like, okay. Put up a little bit. I had very little effort. I keep getting sucked into this tunnel. This happened like at least 6 times, and every time I see him, he had a mirror too. So it was the best. He had the mirror on his left handlebar, so I just keep seeing his face reaction, like get mad. Like you see his eternal frown, and they just throttle it, just go. And you see him wanting to take off, and I just go like, I'm gonna pedal a little bit. And I get sucked in again.
I've never seen an e-bike guy like that. I love the e-bike guys because they're always like super chill. Like I'll always like
chill too.
Yeah, like
but I'm like, I thought he was too, but he's like, I'm like, do you realize what you're doing? You keep sucking me in, and then you slingshot me, and you're getting mad about it. Yeah, I was just laughing. I just got a point. I was just laughing while I'm slingshotting past it, and we were gone. At a certain point, he's like,
the last e-bike guy that I like rode behind, I was like, and he like we were on a trail, and I was getting it. Like, I'm like, all right, I think I'm going to like PR this section. Like, I'm feeling good. I got the legs today. I know this is a segment. Dude's like, right in front doing like 25, and he's again, very upright, like hybrid style e-bikes. I'm like, oh, sick. Like the wind's broken. Like I'm feeling it. 2 seconds into the segment, pulls off like to get because that's his exit. And I was like, bro, like this was like I need you. Where are you going? He's like, he's like, sorry, dude. Like, good luck. And I was like, oh man, and like, come on. But yeah, no, it was those are my favorites. Like those guys are cool. Like but yeah, as long but it's great. Like sometimes but I've never seen like a aggressive e-bike rider. Like that's a new one for me. Yeah, but
I mean, he helped us. And if he's watching,
thank
you.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to have a conversation. You get getting mad.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, we end up at Huntington, and I'm doing, he gets that roundabout where it spits you up to the bridge.
Yeah.
I'm getting up to the roundabout. As they get up to the hill, so you're looking at, who's coming in. Here they come on the e-bikes again. I'm like, we still beat you. Like, what the hell did we get mad about?
That's great.
It's not about winning, but sometimes it's about winning.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The small victories.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
Totally.
All right, well let's wrap this up with if anybody the people that are in the chat right now, if anybody has any questions or wants to know anything, we are open forum for the next few minutes before we call it on this live stream for today.
Okay, but also just mention about the movement.
Yes, let's do one
more
plug.
How do they sign up?
Yeah, Pedal Movement. We're just Pedal Movement on Instagram. It's probably the easiest way I can tell you to sign up for it. We have a bunch of links. Our link in bio. There's a bunch of posts that you'll see of ways to sign up. We'll also I can put the link in the description afterward if you want to sign up.
That. Yeah,
it's totally free to join. You don't have to ride that much. I think to qualify for the first raffle is you ride 31 miles. It's a mile a day. People I think blew past that in the first day of May. So they were already. It's totally accessible. You can do that on your beach cruiser on the beach path. You could do that anywhere.
And then if you could break down real quick, if we don't get any questions, could you break down like some of the raffle like prize packages with mileage just before we wrap up?
Yeah. So each of the 31 miles, 150 miles, and 500 miles are the three. And even the 500, that's only 16 miles a day or something like that. So for people who are riding all the time, not totally inaccessible. We have, there are prizes in each one. KaiVenture bags, you guys have, some awesome. Okay. She'll have the show and tell. We have a couple other like Long Beach. There's Trademark Brewing in Long Beach. They're doing a crowler set and a T-shirt for one of the tiers. You can get beer. You can get Icebreaker, the clothing brand with merino wool and stuff. They donated a couple T-shirts that are super awesome to ride in. Bunch of Cliff Bar product, which is great. You can get like a case of shop blocks or like other. All this is on Instagram too. T-shirts for Pedal Movement. That's a great question, Sean.
God, he's killing it, Sean.
Exactly.
Sean's the homie.
Go. These are like our last couple T-shirts. We're actually in the process of like developing some merch and doing, like these are just our uniform basically that our techs wear. So we're check back in like 2 months and we'll hopefully have some cool stuff. That's in the pipeline, but unfortunately we don't have anything right now that I can tell you. But you can come visit the shop at 223 First Street in Long Beach. We always like seeing people. We can only have one person at a time right now, so like not the best time to come by and chat. But in the future, we'd love to meet you guys and hang out.
Cool. And then we'll have all those links for everything, and then that's going to be basically so the raffle. Obviously it's going to be wrapped up on the end of this month. When's the raffle date?
It'll be on the 31st.
Okay.
I guess technically the 1st, like at midnight when we go into June. On the 1st, we'll announce the winners, and you'll just have to have logged all your miles by the 31st. So if you're planning on getting your last few miles on the 31st, make sure you do it before midnight, because that's when I'm gonna.
He's in Albuquerque. Yeah, he's
winner right there.
Yeah, that is far.
That is a little far.
Sean, I don't know how, but this is one of the prizes. If you ride,
there we go. Hang on, let's do the zoom. There it is.
Boom.
Yeah, that thing's tight. I want one of those. I don't think I can make myself win the raffle.
That's right.
No, just kidding.
Yeah, come on.
He's like, that's weird. I won all 3 categories.
Crazy.
Really strange.
Don't know how it happened, but suddenly I don't work for Pedal Movement anymore. It's weird.
All right, cool. Well, I will. Like I said, we'll add all that if it's not live right now. We will add all that stuff. So if you guys are watching this not live, they'll be all in the description below. The links for KaiVenture's Instagram and website is there currently. And so if you guys want to see more of their products, I have a couple of reviews on my channel again, and we'll be doing more. And you can see all their cool custom bags and get them any way you want. So no matter what your bike looks like, if it's a 1982 Rockhopper or a brand new Specialized LA with 23C tires on it, you can get a bag that matches. No big deal. So we will wrap this up. If anybody else has anything.
Surprise for Aaron.
Okay.
Okay, Aaron. So like on these podcasts, I make like I don't know if you've seen our video, our stories or anything like that about making patches and stuff. But every time we do a podcast, we make patches. So I made you one.
Oh, what? Those are awesome.
I don't know if we want to put them on the prizes yet or not.
I'll throw them in the bag at least. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's dope. Those are so cool.
It can go on your next bag.
Yeah, those are rad. We'll have to keep talking because we've been talking about doing like, everything from t-shirts to patches to stickers and all that. So those are so cool. Thanks.
All right.
Michael, I was going to show you yours again, but I every time I want to show you it, I lose it.
Well, I mean, the cool thing is if you keep losing it, I'm going to get like 8. It's going to be great. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to find them, or like every like 2 months, you'll be like, I found this one. It was in the corner. It was dusty. It's fine.
What bag do you want again?
Yeah, right. I cleaned the spiders off of it. It's fine.
Nice.
Yeah, so I appreciate everybody's time. I hope everyone that is out there that's watching this either now or in the future is having a great day and is able to ride at some capacity, no matter if the trails are open or closed or whatever's going on. We all hope you are enjoying cycling in general, and that this is an hour and 30 minutes and 15 seconds of something that, made this whole virus thing go by a little bit smoother because you're out of things to watch on Netflix. So I appreciate it. And that'll be it for today, guys. And appreciate it all your time for watching. Thanks guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Later.